Hi friends, my name is Borrodante and welcome back to the Twin Victim. So, I slept after the previous episode, and now we continue. Now we finished this, really. So, I have to remember what was going on at all, and let's choose a new brush. Round oil pastel. How is it round? Okay, I want to switch to something that is not blending the canvas, because we're about to start adding, like, tiny details, and I need it to stay sharp, I think. Okay, I think I like this one. Opaque acrylic brush in acrylic and gouache. But I had to make the step more dense because it didn't handle well the big size. And also, maybe don't go so tiny, like minimum size shouldn't be so minimum. 75. Yeah, this looks good. But opacity, minimum opacity 0. I don't see that at all. Sup with that? Oh, expression, we should add what makes the minimum opacity. Pressure. Well, yeah. I mean, this is obviously only flow, not opacity. Oh well. Not a lot of programs have the two different types of transparency for the brush. What I like a lot though is that whenever there's jitter, there's also smoothness, which is cool. Jitter means like noise in whatever parameter you use. So noise in opacity means that it's gonna constantly change its opacity, at least it's supposed to do that. But anyway, smoothness means that not every copy will be completely different color, but it will like smoothly transition among a few copies of the next step or something. Like there will be like soft variation of colors, not just super rough. With some adjustments, this brush is actually pretty cool, even without opacity when it's only flow. Can I make you blend? I wonder. Oh yeah, I can. Okay, I think I'm gonna be using this brush. It's kinda dirty, but it also has its own color. I may turn off the blender at all after a while because I'll get pissed at it. But yeah, let's give it a try. So let's think on the whole picture again a little bit, because that's the most important part. Do I want to change something? Let's maybe increase the contrast of values a bit more. I want to play around with this idea. Darker shadows as well. Kinda really feel like I've been missing out on the contrast lately. Not dark enough shadows, not bright enough bright areas. So everything looks like the light is inside of the room, even when it's not in the room. It's hard to explain, but the contrast doesn't look realistic, and that's like a huge bummer for the eye. Also, I'm not sure, but I feel like we've changed the concept a bit. Like this neck thing, like it's cool that we made it all cloth and all, but there was like a long neck, and it was like a thing of this character. It was a bit weird looking. And we have almost like normal necks basically. Maybe should we stretch kind of, or make the shoulders lower? Because I kinda like the way it looks. Oh, so opacity jitter does a lot of things. So with it 100%, the stroke looks like this, and no jitter will do this kind of stuff. In Blender mode, but whatever. And so smoothness will create... You see, it's kind of like dragging the same state for a while. Okay, so let's actually paint. So yeah, I think let's stretch the necks. This is gonna be awesome. So they still have to be together, so it makes sense to just move both of them together. So I'm trying to think with the cloth. I know I said I was going to work on the faces, but as usual. So trying to think with the cloth like how it would actually work here and there. Constantly blurring my eyes to see the whole picture, how actual cloth is working everywhere while I'm working on just one wrinkle somewhere. Trying not to do some stupid crap on the painting, that's what I'm trying to say. Wow, there's size step. Like for pen pressure. As you can see right now, I'm making a stroke. You see these horrible... It looks kind of like a low res, but it has like steps of size as I'm changing the pressure on the pen. Apparently it works faster if it has bigger step for the size. Yeah, you see it's like super big now. Yeah, 1% please, what the hell? I thought this brush was horrible, but it's actually pretty nice looking. Okay, hi kids. Let's do your nice faces. I love their mouths. Kind of like this shape. Obviously, because they don't have teeth, I guess. That's why this kind of shape of the lips. That's kind of cool. It's interesting looking. Realistic or something. So we need to make the cheeks much more massive, since infants have these fat areas here. I don't know what for. They are there by nature, but that's a thing. Kind of like this brush, I found it in this oils collection. There's fine soft brush. Changed the settings a little bit. Nice looking. Okay, I started blending into surfaces. That's bad. Need to concentrate. Oh yeah, I think I found my favorite brush. Although it's kind of too just round and soft, but it has kind of a sharp edge, which is sort of good. I like that it has a high-end quality to it. Like if you zoom in a lot, it all looks, you know, like this could be a part of the final image, just an unimportant part. Because recently, the way I paint in Photoshop, I use really rough brushes that have like chunky steps, and then it looks kind of lame if you zoom in. I hope I won't get used to this method of resizing the brush and then struggle in Photoshop. I feel like I need a blender as a separate tool, because right now, like, I think I'm gonna create a second brush that is the same brush, but it's just a blender, gonna be like colorless. Yeah, nice. So the point of this character, this monster, is, like, what I like about Silent Hill is that any character, anything, has like a pretty interesting background to it. Well, this one is not that deep, but sometimes it's like really deep. Anyway, so these two infants, they're actually initially like just two siblings, brother and sister. Not this young, they're like, I don't know, just children, but not infants. And they were, well, kind of brutally murdered by the main antagonist of the game, Walter Sullivan. He is, well, kind of a maniac. I mean, obviously he is a maniac, but there's like a deep reason to it. Basically, that's the whole theme of the game, what that Walter Sullivan guy is about. But anyway, like, through the whole game, Walter is killing people, like, he's a serial killer, basically. And each character that he kills turns into a ghost. Like a flashy, gross, basically like a levitating zombie. That's what ghosts look like in Silent Hill 4. Except for this character. These two, brother and sister. They turned into more of a regular enemy that reoccurs in the game. Like, you know, there's many of them during the levels and whatever. And there's like a theory why that happened is because these Siamese twins, they represent the attachment of this Walter to his mother, because that's also an important part of the main theme of the game. So yeah, I don't know, like, I don't want to spoil, but it's a really old game. You should have played it by now. So yeah, Walter is trying to find the way to his mother that he thinks is an apartment that you live in and got stuck in. It's a weird story, and it's like semi-allegorical or just metaphorical. Or not that, but it's more like all a dream, or like a dream of this Walter guy. He's at the same time a little boy that is looking for his mother, and a grown-up man who is on the killing spree, killing people, trying to make a pretty horrible ritual happen that would reunite him with his mother. That's basically the situation, if not to go into details too much. And so, the brother and sister, they are not Siamese twins initially. They're just twins. So, this was kind of an interesting change in them after they died. Probably because this is the Walter's world where they are trapped now. And this is the way Walter's personality distorted them to be. Because they kind of represent this family attachment or something. Japanese games, am I right? Wow, he looks so bloated. Like he's a really hungover kid. He kinda looks like he's been just born. I kinda like that. I like playing with these masses and color. I don't think I usually painted like this before. It's kind of awesome looking right now. I don't know, I love the way he looks. Even though it's not exactly how it's supposed to look like. Still love it a lot. Maybe it's like, I mean, he's kind of distorted, not very symmetrical, and I still like it. Like, I would like it less if the face would be more symmetrical. So let's think on this ear. I think it's not supposed to be like that. So guess what soundtrack am I listening to right now? That's right, Cluster Truck. No, Silent Hill 4, of course, yeah. So the head is slightly tilted downwards. Initially, an ear should start at the eyebrow level and end at the nose bottom level. But we kind of like shifted upwards a bit since the face is now lower than the back of the head. So yeah, I was like impressed by this character the most out of maybe all the Silent Hill games. I wasn't this impressed by Pyramid Head or something. This is like so cool, such an interesting concept. And you've never seen anything like this before. Like maybe after, but I don't even know. I mean, in Bloodborne there's some messed up things going on, but it's like a bit more trashy than this kind of character, you know? It's more concept-like, it's cleaner. It's a thing that represents a certain feeling, not just, oh my god, what am I looking at, you know? Although yeah, oh my god, what am I looking on factor is present for sure. Wow, this kid's face looks awesome. Let's fail the second one. Doing pretty cool so far. Only this kid has his nose glowing with pink. But I like the colors of the shadows on this side, like the translucency works really cool. Translucency plus the reflected light and all. So let's change this color, it should be probably darker. And that's it. Okay, this is really cool. Apparently the study on the value contrast exposure thingy worked out pretty good for me. Okay, so I've been recording for 2 hours now. I don't want to make another episode, but I know if I keep talking, it's gonna be like an hour-long episode. So I guess I'll try to shut up at all and just paint. So it's gonna be like a time-lapse huge piece in the end. So let's do that, like, let's work around arm, legs, and some clothing maybe. I don't know. I'm in such a weird condition right now. Like, the weather is killing me and I feel sleepy and just lousy all the time. And right now I even have headache of some sort. But I feel just amazing sitting here and just painting. Talking, not so much. Talking kind of requires the force that's not very natural to me. So yeah, I think I'm gonna be really good right now just painting silently. And you guys check it out. So prepare for like a long piece of no talking, just painting. Ow. done! Well, this was a super awesome process. I think it was by a big part of it thanks to the way the brush blends instead of just being transparent when I press slightly. I think it adds a very special touch to everything. So yeah, worked a bunch on the arms. They turned out kind of alright. The bottom one is a bit less confident looking, this one is a bit better, but whatever. Then I added this detail. That's because I was looking at references from in-game models. Like if we check it here, you can actually see there's a thing dangling in the middle between their heads. So it's kind of like, on the first thought, it might look like just some kind of decorative color thing, whatever. Like a tie for kids, I don't know. Maybe it's a thing like from the old times. But I also thought it kind of like dangles like it's something heavy and not really decorative actually. You see, it's really heavy thing. I'm not sure, it's hard to tell what that is and why it would be so specific of a thing, and it doesn't really take place in the original thing. Yeah, you can see like two long, kind of like glossy things that are dangling down. So anyway, my theory is that this is some sort of like a giant umbilical cord, which is a pretty colorful detail in the story of the game actually. Only in there's like an actual umbilical cord, which is a tiny thing, but this is like a big one. It might be that. I haven't found a single mentioning of this thing, even in the description of what this character looks like specifically. Nothing about this thing in the middle. And you can see how in the concept art, it doesn't even really take place there. So that detail was added later. And it has simulation too. I don't know, I really think this is an umbilical cord, because that's like a thing in Silent Hill 4. I feel like it might be a specific detail that they added. So yeah, this is it. This is the twin victim. To give a conclusion about the program, it was a bit rough on the edges in the beginning. There was some random crash, I don't know what that was about. It never crashed since then. Like certain performance problems that might be worse because I'm recording, I'm not sure. But in general, everything is kind of like stable and working, I don't know, nothing goes too slow or something. Like, works pretty well, I think. There's definitely a pretty big variety of good brushes in this gigantic library, so triangular color selection kind of works in the end. I don't know, I like it. After we figured out the logic of how to just work with the brightness, it kind of works pretty well. So there's that. Obviously, it's mostly a program to work in one layer with just colors, like really simulating the traditional way of painting. So I'm kind of lucky that I'm into painting in one layer lately, so that's why I could really appreciate this. So yeah, tell me guys what you think about the character, about the program. But this is it. And I thank you for watching if you did. I guess you did if you're here. Leave a like and subscribe, tell a friend, point your finger. Do whatever you want. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!